Hello, everyone. Welcome to the second video in this endeavor. I'm zetamath. This is my husband, Tristan.
Hi.
So this is the second puzzle that we're going to be recording a collaborative solve on. It's taken a while for us to find a system that we think we're happy with, but we think we've found one. We previously posted a solve of us working through a tall cat puzzle, his final four corners puzzle. So I really recommend you go check that out if you have not done so already. We're trying to do the technical stuff a little bit better this time, so if you had issues with the video or sound, we're hoping this one will come out better. Although that being said, we've already had a number of technical hitches in this video, so apologies in advance if anything disastrous happens.
This is our second attempt at recording the introduction.
Yes, this is our second, so if I sound bored by the introduction, that's why. This puzzle is a very special puzzle, as it was made as part of a puzzle loop between me, Scott Strosahl, Rangsk, and Bremster. As part of that puzzle loop, I made a puzzle for Rangsk, which was antimatter, which he did on his channel. I highly recommend that you go check that out. But this is the final piece of that puzzle loop. So we're looking forward to tackling this puzzle by our fellow Iowan and Hawkeye fan, Scott Strosahl.
Oh,
so
you, he's gonna kill you.
I'm going to be honest, I don't really know what a Hawkeye is, but these two seem really excited about it. So,
he will never speak to us again.
There is some possibility of that. Just a reminder, in addition to these lovely videos with me and Tristan, which we're hoping to do more regularly, I also stream 2 days a week. Those are Wednesdays and Saturdays. On Wednesdays, I stream at noon Central Standard Time. You can convert that with Google to your current time. I stream for about 8 hours, give or take. And then on Sundays, I stream at 4:30 Central Standard Time for usually about 4 hours. If you want that in terms of Ranksk's stream, that's right after Ranksk's stream ends on Saturdays. So if you follow him, then I usually show up right afterwards. If you don't follow him, well, if you're here, you should also be following Ranksk's stream. Speaking of which, if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, we would very much appreciate it if you would subscribe to this channel. If you want to go above and beyond the Call of Duty, you can also support us on Patreon. Patreon.com/zetamath is where you have to go to do that.
Link in the description for that as well.
Excellent. We have promised many links.
Yes. There's also a link to Rangsk Sudoku Solver's Discord, where there are news, announcements, and discussion for this channel, as well as Bremster's, Rangsk's, and Scott's channels. Fun stuff goes on there. You should join us.
We also have our main zetamath channel, where we post videos of math stuff, where we're attempting to explain the math behind the Riemann hypothesis. We have a video coming soon about integrals of complex functions, but there are already many videos there on topics relating to the Riemann hypothesis and the zeta function. You should check that out at youtube.com/zetamath. All
right. Shall we have a look at this puzzle?
Yeah, let's see what's going on in this puzzle.
Okay. Here is our lovely grid. The puzzle is called 4 Times the Fun by Scott Strosahl. So in this puzzle, normal Sudoku rules apply. We also have these 2 diagonals in blue. Along each of these diagonals, we have the digits 1 to 9 once each, just like a row, column, or box. So these are extra regions. So we cannot repeat digits along either of these main diagonals. Then we have a bunch of ambiguous clue types. We have these gray X's, which are either a German whispers or a Renban. So along a German whispers line, adjacent digits have to differ by at least 5. So if this was, I'm in the wrong mode. If this was a 1, these could be 6, 7, 8, and 9. That would be a valid fill of a German whispers X. Otherwise, they are a Renban, in which they are a set of consecutive digits in any order. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is a perfectly acceptable way of filling this, if it is a Renban. Then we have these clues outside the grid, which are also ambiguous. They are either little killer clues, which simply give the sum of the entire diagonal they point to, and digits can repeat on such a diagonal, or they are diagonal x-sums. Tommy, would you like to explain what an x-sum is, or how that works?
Yes, for an x-sum, what you do is you look at x, which is a letter that's supposed to stand for the first digit that you see. So, for example, if this was a 4, this would be saying that you're supposed to look at the first 4 digits along this direction, and you're supposed to add them together. So you could, for example, have 4, 5, 6, 2, and that would satisfy this. Additionally, it looks like in this puzzle, you're not allowed to repeat digits within an x-sum.
That is correct.
So if you have all of your x-sum totals memorized, then that will still hold, even though normal x-sums are horizontal or vertical. But Scott has gone and thrown in a bit of a twist, and now they're going diagonally instead.
I definitely do not have my x-sums totals memorized, so this will be an adventure. Additionally, there's one more rule, which is to say that at least one of these x's is a German whispers, at least one of these x's is a Renban, and for the diagonals, at least one is a little killer, and at least one is an x-sum. So all the clue types we've described appear somewhere in the puzzle at least once.
I could have proven at least one was an x-sum.
Well, we're about to do that, actually. So we can get started, and as noted, we know what these digits sum to.
Yeah, you can go ahead and enter that they're nanupal, as Rangsk likes to say.
All
Just go
right.
ahead and enter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we just know that this is 1 each because it's an extra region. However, as Simon likes to say, those numbers add up to 45, which is a slightly different number from 14. And so we can go ahead as a result of that. We can remove 9 from row 1, column 1. Tristan's not going to play nice and let me have my every cell in the grid pencil marked with 1 through 9.
I'm not, but we
In
can
fact,
do a lot
actually,
more than that.
Yes. In fact, actually, there's very few digits this could be. It can't even be as large as 5, actually, because if you sum 5 different digits, you get a minimum of
15.
Yes, that's right. The 5th triangular number, as Simon is fond of saying. So 5 is too big, whereas 2 is too small, because if I tried to put a 2 there, then I would have to put a 12 here, and fortunately, Sven hasn't let us do that yet. So we don't have to worry about that possibility. So it is only a 3 or a 4. And it's definitely an x-sum. I think there are 2 more. There are 3 more definitely x-sums.
Well, let's see. This one is definitely an x-sum. If this was a little killer, the minimum these could be is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, which sums to 12, which is bigger than 9. So this is an x-sum. So this is a 2 or a 3.
Mm-hmm.
We could have a 2 with a 7 here, or a 3 with a couple of different options. 1, 5 or 2, 4.
Yep. Can't have a 1 because then you would be summing the 1. Even though you can put a 9 in a Sudoku cell, you can't put a 9 in the spot that would be summed by the 1.
Right. If this was a 1, well, 1 doesn't sum to 9. So we can discount 1.
So the 10 is interesting already, because the 10 could normally be as high as 4, but I actually don't think it can be 4 with the 9 clue also there, but I might be wrong. But it's
Well,
certainly 2, 3, 4. But I think it might not be able to be 4.
if this was 4, this would have to be 3.
Wait, can you explain?
Sure. If this was 4, we need these digits to be from 1, 2, and 3. But if this is 2, this is a 7. So that wouldn't work. So we would need this to
Yes.
be a 3.
Yes.
So this is now 1 or 2. This would be a 1, 2 pair.
Mm-hmm.
And in
And
fact, what we
now,
would need to do is do that with a 5 there and a 3 there, and I think that might actually work.
yeah, that actually, unpleasantly, that looks fine.
So
So
I don't think we can.
I don't think we can rule that out.
But in no universe can we have an 8 here, so this can't be 2.
That's fine. Yep. So this is 3 or 4. Good point. Good point.
Yeah, 8 here just completely breaks the 9 diagonal.
And let's go ahead and color this thing in purple because we know for sure that this is a Renban. Because if this wanted to be a German Whispers, the only way we could do that is to put a 9 in the middle.
That's
and
right.
9 can't possibly go in the middle. The reason why we have to have a 9 in the middle is if we tried to have a digit that's less than 9, like an 8, well, what are the digits that are 5 away from 8? Well, they are 1, 2, and 3. But unfortunately, 1, 2, and 3 is too few digits to fill the 4 cells that have to be 5 away from 8. So the only number that could possibly work in the middle is a 9. In fact, actually, for any of these X-shaped things, if it is a German whisper, the central digit has to be 1 or 9, and the spokes are either 1, 2, 3, 4, or 6, 7, 8, 9, depending on whether it's high or low. So that's going to be really difficult to make happen, which is where I suspect we're going to use the rule that there has to be a German whisper in there somewhere, because we're going to have to nail down exactly where it is that happens.
So let's keep investigating this arrangement because I think we can get more joy out of it.
Can we purple this?
Can we purple? Oh, this X.
Yeah. So let's purple it, and then let's write in candidates just on the basis of the fact that it's a Renban that has a 2 or a 3 on it and has length 5.
Okay, so it can be at most 8? 7. It can be at most.
Yeah,
7.
it can be at most 7, although I bet we're going to be able to do better than that.
Yeah, so these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yes, and the only places... actually, no, there's nowhere a 7 can go. A 7 would break either X sum.
So, yeah, if this was a 7... That's very interesting. If this is a 7 and that's a 2, what are we putting here? That's going to get us a digit.
Okay, so no 7. So...
No 7, so no 2 here.
Yep, no 2 there, so we've got a digit.
So in fact, the scenario we did before was exactly correct. Let's do a little digit dance. Digit dance.
I don't know if we do digit dances in our collaborative videos, but we're going to do one anyway.
Okay.
So now let's just fill in the scenario that we went through before that we tried to disprove.
Right. So this now is a 4 just by Sudoku, and now we
Those
needed
are 1, 2,
this
3.
to be a 1 and a 5. This has to be a 2, and that's a 3.
Mm-hmm. And these are 6, 7, 8, 9 along the around the rest of the box.
Yes.
Although maybe those cells will never matter at all. That is very possible.
It is possible.
I won't discount that possibility. So here's a more nuanced point. Oh, sorry. You were going to say something. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, because we now have 3 of the 6 digits along this 20 diagonal, so we can ask, if this is a little killer, what are these digits? So we have 9 here, so these would add to 11 if it's a little killer, so they couldn't be too big. Maybe it's more interesting to ask what it would be if it was an X sum.
Well, the only thing it could possibly be if it's an X sum is it would have to be a 4 there.
Yeah.
Because it can't be as high as 5, and it can't be as high as 6. So you'd have a 4 and a 9, and say like a 5 and a... No, it couldn't have a 5 and a 6. It could have like a 3 and an 8.
Wait, what?
So that digit, if this is an X sum, is a 4.
Yeah,
It's
and
going
then
to sum those two digits and the 5.
right, so
And
these
then
have
those
to
two need to sum to 11, and so they could
yes.
be something like 3 and 8.
Right. Okay.
Or 9 and 2 seems very likely, actually.
All right.
But anyway, I think we don't know.
So maybe the 17 diagonal.
I think we need to look at the ones that we know are X sums first. And we still have like
Okay.
3 more of those.
I guess this one could be an X sum or a little killer, and these digits are going to have to be pretty high either way.
Well, the observation I want to make is that the 25 is definitely an X sum.
Because it's less than
whether
the 37.
Right. And so the X sum is always going to give you less than or equal to the sum of the whole diagonal. So this one's definitely an X sum. I don't know about the 37, but the 25 is definitely an X sum. And it can't be a 3 because there's already a 3 in the box.
Right.
But it could certainly be a 4, 5, 6, etc. Well, it can't be higher than 6. In fact, it can't even be a 6. It's a 4 or a 5. If it was a 6, it would be summing the entire diagonal, and then the 37 and the 25 clues would contradict each other.
So it can't be a 5 either.
Oh yeah, if it was a 5, we'd need to put a 12 there, and again, Sven has not implemented that yet. Please, Sven, do not implement 12s. And so in order to make the 37 work, we would need the last cell in this diagonal to be a 12, and that cell cannot be a 12. So that can't be a 5, and so it can only be a 4. And so now those last two digits do sum to 12.
Yes.
And now you've fixed the 14 little killer. Sorry, the 14x sum.
So these are, I guess they're 6, 7, 8 or 5, 7, 9.
Yeah, something like that. I would do Sudoku and look at the fact that the 4 in column 1 has given us a 3 in the corner.
Oh, that's nice. So now these cells sum to 14. So these cells sum to 11.
But I think we should mark in the rest of our X sums, because we've got at least 2 more that we know are X sums. So I think we should mark those in before we get too deep into the weeds about what's going on.
We know this 18 is an X sum because it opposes a 28. So same argument as over here. An X sum is always less than or equal to the sum of the diagonal. Well, this diagonal sums to at least 28, so less than that means this is definitely an X sum.
So this is at least a 4 and at most a 5.
Yes.
Oh, and it can't be a 5 either by Tris logic, because if it was a 5, we'd need to put a 10 in the last cell.
2, 3, 4, 5, yes. Beautiful.
That was a very good spot by you, by the way.
Down here that
there.
This couldn't be a 5?
Yeah, I think that would have taken me a while longer to find out. Okay, and then the 32 diagonal, for the same reason the 14 diagonal we started with, that has to be an X sum.
And it's got to be at least a 5.
It's got to be at least a 5, yep. And it can't be as large as 8, so I think it's 5, 6, or 7.
Right, because 8 is at least 36. Okay. So this could potentially be... Now, could this be a German whispers? If this is a 9, what does that say about the 17? So imagine this is a 9. How do we fulfill the 17 clue? Let's see.
A 4 doesn't work, right? No, because it can't possibly be a 4.
So 9.
Yeah, so, I mean, there's just no option, because if this is a German whisper, that's a 9, and then the sum of these digits, it can't be,
Right, this
it can't
just
be an
doesn't
X
work.
sum. Yeah.
And these already sum to more than 17, so this can't be a little killer.
Right, and because 3 and 4 are going in the box, I just don't have any way it can be an X sum. So this is also a Renban.
And therefore acquires the quality of purple, as Simon might say.
And so the largest digit we can put on it is a 7. Yeah. So the maximum, the maximum that all of these sum to is, the maximum any cell here is 7, but 6 plus 7 is 13. So if you look at the absolute max, the first 3 cells along this 25 little killer can sum to, it tells us, I think, that row 3, column 4 has to be an 8 or a 9.
Row 3, column 4? Sorry.
We're looking at the 25
because
X sum, and those two digits can be at most a 6-7 pair, which would total 17. Oh, I guess it tells us this is 7, 8, or 9. No, I was right the first time. It's an 8 or 9.
It's an 8 or 9.
Okay, which tells us immediately that that's also a Renban.
That's correct.
Oh, sorry, no, it could be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, couldn't it? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, it could be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It could still just be a Renban. But I think you actually were going to look at the right thing, and then I distracted us looking at this.
Well, we know this isn't a German whispers, because these aren't the same.
Oh, that was what I saw the first time, and then I confused the bejesus out of myself. Yes, those are not the same high-lowity, and so this is definitely a Renban. And so, importantly, the last one is definitely a whispers.
Okay, so this is a German whisper. This is a 1 or a 9.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but let's look back over here.
Yeah. It's 2, 5 or 1, 6, I think is all we can say.
Here?
Oh, it can't be 1, 6, because they'd be a 1. You can't put a 1 and a 6 on a length 5 Renban. So it's got to be 2, 5.
Okay, I believe that.
And now we're going to need to be taking a 5 and a 7 with a 9 along the 25.
So this is a 1 or a 6, and it's probably going to have to be a 6. This 25 just isn't going to be big enough if this is a 1, is it?
Uh-oh. Something's wrong.
What's wrong?
This 4, 5, 6, 9 isn't big enough.
Okay, let's back up. So I'm pretty confident about the world up to here.
How confident are we this isn't an X sum with 5? I don't think we actually tried that.
Right, if this is a 5, what's left over? This is 6, 11, this would be a 6?
That sounds a lot better.
That sounds correct. And then this could be as high as 7 now.
Yeah, so let's actually walk through a proof that we actually did this, which is, this is how I saw something was wrong. So highlight those two cells along the 4 X sum. So what we said before was the maximum that those two purple cells could be is a 6-7 pair, in which case that could be an 8 or a 9. And what that meant is that we had one total degree of freedom along this whole X sum in order to make this work.
Yeah, another thing is...
honey,
I feel like I have an easier way of describing this.
Okay.
Because look at the maximum of these two cells. These two cells are maximum 9 and 4, which is 13. So these two cells are minimum 12.
So they must involve a number that's at least 7 in those two, and so that forces our Renban.
Yeah, so there's a 7 in these cells, which means these cells must be 5, 6, and 7
Right.
to satisfy the
Yeah,
Renban rule.
I think that is a good way to see that. So this can't possibly be a little killer clue anymore, because it sums to minimum 21. So it must be an X sum. And so it can't be 6 or 7, so it can only be 5.
Yep.
Which tells us the middle digit, because we need the first 5 digits to sum to 17.
They currently sum to 11, so the remainder is 6. That's a 7, and now this should be an 8, I believe.
That sounds right. And let's fill in the remainder of box 4. We need a 1, a 2, an 8, and a 9. Okay, now the length 5 Renban in box 2 needs a 5 on it, and there's only one place that 5 can go.
Right. Can't go here by Sudoku, so it goes in the middle.
So that this is just one of those facts that you learn almost by rote, that every length 5 Renban has a 5 on it. And that's because if you try and make 5 consecutive digits without a 5, you have to pick 5 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6, 7, 8, 9, and you can see that there's going to be a pretty hard, or pretty difficult to solve problem with finding 5 of those that are consecutive without the 5. You basically just split the line into 2 chunks of length 4.
Yep. So now to make the Renban work, these are 6 and 7, so this one is not 6 or 7.
Yep. Beautiful. And now our length 4 X sum on the 18 we actually know a lot about. We actually know that last digit, because those last two have to sum to 9, so that last digit's a 2 or a 3, and so that puts a 9 on the German whispers and makes these 1, 2, 3, 4.
Right, just to articulate that, now that we have a low digit here, and we know this is a German whispers, these are all going to be low, and this one has to be high, so it has to be a 9.
Yeah, and let's fill in the 1, 2, 3, 4.
So now we gotta ask how the 28 is working.
Well, let's do Sudoku first, because 3 and 4 we see are ruled out of the bottom, so those are a 1, 2 pair.
So now we get a
so
3
that's a 3
here.
and a 4.
Sure. And this digit is known as well.
Yep, it's a 6.
I believe you.
It's just a 6 because 4 plus 5 plus blank plus 3 has to equal 18. And the blank has to be a 6 to make that happen.
So now what do these... This now is going to have to be a little killer, isn't it? Because this is just too short. So...
Yes, the first 1 digit of this diagonal does not sum to 28, and the first 2 digits won't sum to 28, even if we make that as high as 2.
So these add to 15, these add to 12, that's 27, we need a 1.
Yep.
So
And
these
so now...
are... This one isn't 1 or 2, we could have noted earlier, but...
And so now we can disregard the last rule about there needing to be at least one of everything, because now we've used one of everything. We've used a Renban and a Whisper, an X sum, and a little killer.
Yep. That rule is satisfied.
And there's lots to clean up.
There is lots to clean up. This one's not 5 or 7. These aren't 6.
Did we just do the 20 little killer / X sums without even trying?
Oh, I think we probably did. 4.
Yeah, it works out as an X sum, but we didn't even...
13,
I don't
15,
think we ever even looked at it.
20, yep. We got it for free. Now, we do know that these sum to 11. I don't know if that's...
Well, let's fill in the remainder of box 2.
The remainder of box 2, certainly. We need a 1, 2, 3, and 9.
Yep.
This one is not 2 or 3. This one is not 1.
So 1 is horizontal.
Yes.
Okay, do we have our 37 working? Just to double check.
Well, this is definitely a little killer. We know these add to 25, so these had better add to 12, which they do.
Excellent. We have a 3 in row 1. I don't know that it gets us a ton, but might as well try and use the discipline about pencil marks.
It's a pencil mark, so 3 is in one of these 2 cells.
I think 3 is placed in box 7.
Interesting.
Oh, maybe not. Sorry, it's that's the wrong diagonal. 3 is in one of those 2 cells, though. What about box 9?
3 sees these cells in the row, these cells in the column, and then this cell by the diagonal from up here. So that's what's left over.
Ah, got it. Row 2, column 2.
Row 2, column 2.
So we're trying to make these 2 cells sum to 11. And there are 3 ways to make 11, which are 3, 8, which we certainly can't do because there's already a 3 in the box.
And this one can't be 3 or 8 as well.
And this one can't be 5 or 6, which is the other way other than 4, 7. So this diagonal must be 4, 7.
All right, and we know the order.
Yep.
7 goes here, 4 goes here. Because of this 7.
Beautiful 7. We appreciate it.
Now we need a 7 just down here somewhere. And a 7 here somewhere.
Yep. 4 only in one of 2 places in box 9. And we actually have a 3-4 pair in box 7. If
Exciting.
I did that right in my head.
Yes. That is a 3-4 pair.
Woohoo! Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da.
Little Zeta dance.
I like hidden pairs, what can I say?
So this is 5 or 6.
We have a 9 in row 5, so we can clean up our pencil marks a bit.
Sure. No 9s here, so 9 is vertical in this box.
Mm-hmm. Because at some point this puzzle became basically just Sudoku, with one X sum clue. So I figure it's time to start being more aggressive with our pencil marking. Because as everyone watching knows, I am usually very, very diligent to not over pencil mark things, unless I absolutely have to.
Zeta is joking.
Let's
so what
pencil
all
mark
can
the
this
center
be?
cell. Yeah, our brains both go there at exactly the same time.
So it can't be 1. It could theoretically be a 2. Can't be 3, 4, 5.
6 in the row.
Could be a 7.
Nope, can't be 7.
Can't be a
7 on the diagonal.
Could be an 8. That's it, 2 or 8.
And can't be a 9, which gives us a 1, 2, 8 triple in the row.
Well, that's fascinating. So that gets rid of 8 from these cells. Gets rid of 5 and 7 from this cell.
And what's left in the row? 3 and 4? No, that can't be right. It better not be right.
1, 2. Looks like 3 and 4.
Well, that's a problem. How do I keep breaking this puzzle? Because there's already 3 and a 4 in column 4.
But where do 3 and 4 go in this row? Oh no!
We broke it again!
Well, what do you want to do?
Rewind and try and see where we went wrong.
Is there another possibility for...
So let's check every clue and make sure they're all actually right.
Okay. So
5 and
this...
6 is 11. And then 3, 2, 1 is 17. 4 plus 6, 7, 8 is 25. 3, 1, 5 is 9. 4, 1, 2, 3 is really 10.
That's
See,
18.
That's 18. That's 28. That looks like 20. There's 20. 37. Okay, I've checked the 37. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is a valid Renban. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is a valid Renban. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is a valid Renban. Okay, so I still
Could these
contend...
be 2, 9?
Ah, yes. When I said there were 3 ways, there are 4 ways apparently to make 11 in 2. So yes, so we went on an extended detour based on my lack of knowledge of ways to make 11 in 2 digits. So yes, so those are, if we had not made the zeta stake, those are either...
They're either
2, 9.
4, 7 in this direction, or
Or
they're
2, 9.
2, 9 in either direction.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, good catch. Okay, so I think we have not messed this up too badly. I think
So now
basically all of the messing up is
we need
on me.
to prove in a more reasonable way that these are not 4, 7.
So chase the 9 through row 5, and that's going to disambiguate the order.
Right.
Because that still works.
So these are not 9. 9 is in one of these. This is not 9. So this one is not 2.
Yep.
So let's try and clearly articulate. I think it's not too hard to see that if this is 4, the world is broken. Because we did a lot of steps in between, but it actually is pretty direct that now
there's no place for 3 and 4 in row 5.
you can't put
currently,
3 and 4 here. You can put one of them here.
Rewind before you even do that. So 3 currently only goes in one of 2 places in row 5. Actually, no, sorry. 3 is placed in row 5 already. That's the key observation. That doesn't require sort of like looking far, far ahead. And so that's going to place 3 into box 2.
All right, this is not a 3, so this is a 3.
Right. 4 is also now placed in row 5.
Well, it certainly doesn't go here, so it does go here, which then
and that
resolves
gives us this. So this is the path that we should have taken, rather than listening to Zeta about ways to make 11 in 2 digits.
All right, so...
But we live and we learn, and then we place a 2 in box 2.
1, 9 pair gives us a 2 here.
Okay, so...
Do not trust Zeta's arithmetic skills.
It is never a good idea to trust my arithmetic skills.
Do we know anything about this digit?
Well, we can write out candidates for it. Looks to me like it could be a 1. Or a 2. No, it can't be a 2. Sorry, don't listen to me. Or a 3 or a 4. Could be a 5, possibly. But not a 6. could maybe be a 7, but not an 8 or a 9.
Well,
so I think the answer is not really to your question about do we actually know anything about this digit.
that's okay.
I'm sure the digit has other nice qualities. I do think now that the 32x sum might not be able to be a 5. Because if it's a 5, then those two digits add to 9, and so we'd need those other three digits to add to 23, right? Yeah, we'd need those to add to 23. Oh, so they could be exactly...
7, 8, and 9.
No, 7, 8, and 9 add to 24.
Sorry, 6, 8, and 9.
I don't think we can do... Oh, we can't do 6, 8, and 9, because there's already a 6, 8, and 9 in row 3.
Yes, so that disproves 5 from here.
Oh, we can't... Oh, yeah. Yes, so that disproves 5 from there.
Because this would have to be a 6, 8, or 9.
Yes, I believe so. Though, you have good evidence that you shouldn't listen to claims from Zeta about how many things can be made and how many digits. But I really swear that 23 can only be 6, 8, 9.
Let's briefly... If these are 9, then we have 23 left. It can only be 6, 8, and 9. I do believe that. So, this is not a 5, it is a 6. And now, I guess now we know these 3 add to 13?
Well, let's look at the digits, because now we basically just have to do Sudoku.
Sure. This sees a lot. This sees quite a few digits, actually. I don't think it sees
a 1.
1. It sees 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
I don't know if it
sees an 8. It's 1 or 8. Though if these are adding to 13, 8 is pretty constrained.
Would have to go 3, 2, or 1, 4. Unfortunately, there is a way that both of those work, I think. Let's just highlight each digit. So let's see. Where can 1s go? Is there anything interesting about that?
We know very little about 1s.
1s have let themselves down? Is that how this works?
2s go over here. And... 2 is placed in this box.
2 is placed in this box. Can you...
Yeah, just by Sudoku.
Yep. Because it's on the negative diagonal.
You don't even need diagonal. There's a 2 here.
Yeah. Okay. Yep, sure.
So 2 would go in one of these cells, but this one's filled.
Yep. So 2 goes there. We have 1, 8, 9 left in the column, but that's not a 1. So actually 1 is placed in the column by Sudoku. And so that's an 8 or a 9 to finish column 6. And that gives us an 8, 9 pair in the row, which knocks an 8 candidate out. So 5, 6, 7 triple to finish the row. That's not a 5 in the middle.
This one's not a 6 by diagonal.
And the 8, 9 is not a 9 by diagonal.
Good point. So that's a 9. Now we need a 9 somewhere.
The 9 is placed on the positive diagonal.
Oh, does it have to go here?
I think it has to go there. I think if you look at all the other cells...
Where else is it going to go on the positive diagonal? It can't go in these cells. Yep. Let's see, by Sudoku there's a 3 in one of these cells. So we have a sort of weird X-wingy thing on 3s.
Yeah, diagonal X-wing on 3s.
Does that tell us anything about...
I think it rules 3 out of row 7, column 9. Because if that was a 3, it would force 2 3s onto the diagonal.
Yes. Oops. Not a 3. Is 3, it is not a 3.
I mean, if we break this puzzle like 5 times, it'll make a great clickbaity title. So go right ahead. We can fill it in. And
how many times can we break this puzzle?
Yes, this will be. We will name our puzzles like Simon.
Watch the Occupancy disaster.
Oh no. Let's fill in columns 4 and 5.
Yeah, I was looking at that. This cell...
So that cell can be 1. Can't be 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe it can be 6. But it can't be 7, 8, or 9. So that's a 1, 5, 6, 7 quadruple in the box. So we just get a write in row 4, column 5. So that's a 9.
These aren't 9. That's not 9. 9 goes here. I guess it was the last digit in the column and we didn't notice.
Places 9 in box 9 now.
Okay. 9.
Not on the diagonal.
Not here, not here, not here. Not here because of the row. 9 goes here.
So our elaborate deduction about how that cell couldn't be a 3 by using a diagonal X-wing sadly did not prove to be an integral part of the solve of the puzzle. But whatever. We Simoned it.
Yep, so 9 goes up here by Sudoku.
Yep. Is that all of our 9s? It looks like 9 9s. Do we have all 8 8s yet?
Not quite. Someday I will get a nice microphone for recording these videos.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Okay, that 9, though, is huge. Because remember the last 3 things along the positive diagonal sum to 13. But we just put a 9 in one of them.
Ooh,
so
that's
it has
certainly...
to go with 1 and 3.
All right.
And so now it just is Sudoku, I believe.
So that pushes a 3 over here, pushes a 3 up here. Are we done 3s? We are done 3s.
Let's pencil mark the diagonals.
Let's see. This diagonal needs 5, 7, and 8.
5, 7, 8 sounds right. Top is not a 5.
Well, this 8 is the only... 8 can only go here.
Nice, nice. Okay, let's pencil mark the other diagonal. It still needs a 1, and there's only one place it can go. So let's start with that.
Looks like 1 goes here. Oh, wait.
No. There's a 1 in the row.
My Sudoku skills and Zeta's arithmetic skills are legendary.
With our powers combined, we will occasionally successfully solve a puzzle.
So there's a 1 here, which gives us an 8 and a 6.
6, 5, 7 pair in column 4.
So that's a 6.
5, 7 pair in box 5.
That's a 6.
We have an 8 in box 4 already.
And the 1 solves it.
Fancy. Row 1. Let's just write in candidates for row 1 now.
We still need a 1.
We still need a 5.
And an 8.
Yep.
That's not 8.
That's not 1. That one's not 8. In column 2. So the 8 is placed. I realize we never actually wrote in candidates on the negative diagonal. Because
Oh, yeah.
we got distracted by the hidden 1 on the diagonal.
So let's see. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't have 5,
6 or
6, or
7.
7.
And then we have 8 and 9.
So that's not 5. That's not 6.
It's super not 6. It's not 6 in the column or row. But that does give us a 5-7 pair in column 8, which resolves the 1-5.
So it does. This is going to have to be a 1, I believe.
Yeah, we probably should put a 1 in that box someday. And that's probably about the last place we could do it.
Are you doing a southern accent now?
No, we're going to have to put my southern accent as a Patreon reward. Or maybe me not doing the southern accent will be the Patreon reward.
That's a good idea.
There we go.
How about column 3?
Yeah, that looks suspicious. Let's see.
4 left.
5, 6. And the top one's not 5. Let's see. That one's not a 6.
That one's not 4.
Box 1.
See,
We still need a 4, a 6, and a 7.
that sounds right.
We don't have a 6 in row 3. Or maybe I should say we do have a 6 in row 3. That's also not a 4 by the column.
Oh, that's nice. So that's a 7.
Yep, and that's a 6.
And that's a 4. And that's a 5, and that's a 6.
Woohoo!
So that's
Do you think
not
we
a
can
6.
break it one more time?
We'll try our best. We'll see about breaking it. Let's see. This is a 2, which goes here, and what is this digit? 8? 8.
Finishes the 7-8, which finishes the 6-7.
Oh, so it does. 7, 8, 6. Oh, haha.
Also fixed by the 5-7 pair.
Yeah.
But we were too busy doing other things.
Yeah, so
it's
what's
not that
this
we
digit?
missed it. It's that we were being differently productive.
This looks like a 4 to me. And that is
also
7.
a 4? No, not also a 4.
So that's a 5, that's a 7. These two digits...
7 looks up. Oh, 4.
So it does. So that's a 5, that's a 7, that's a 5. These aren't 5. Row 9.
We still need a 1 and we know where it goes. And we still need a 2 and we know where it goes.
I should hope so. So, buttons. So that's a 2. This is a 5 by the row. And
I think that's a 4.
And then this
7.
gives us an 8 and a 7. And that's a 4. And this...
8.
Woohoo! Thank you very much for the puzzle, Scott. We tried our best to break it, but ultimately we failed to break it.
Despite what I believe comments will call an admirable effort to break the puzzle. But we got there in the end. But yes, thank you so much. That was quite enjoyable. And I appreciate how you hewed to the things that I said I liked in puzzles. I'd also like to once again thank our patrons. We appreciate the support that they provide us and the things they allow us to do, like purchase software to do collaborative solves like this. And you can look forward to another of these collaborative solves in not too long, because I have a very, we'll say, ambitious idea for which puzzle the two of us are going to take on next.
I'm terrified.
You should be.
Everybody go visit Scott's channel. It is lovely to be able to promote a fellow Iowan. And once again, if you have not, please join the Sudoku Solvers Discord. It's a great place for discussing Sudoku channels. Link in the description. Thank you to our patrons, and we'll see you next time.
Bye for now.